All right, everybody, how's it going? We just did the AFC North predictions, so why not jump back into our 2020 NFL predictions and move ahead on to the NFC North. Yeah, so as we've been doing the AFC and NFC North every day for the last couple days. So, well, not the North, but specifically the AFC and then the NFC following. So we're almost down to the last one. We have the AFC East and the NFC East left tomorrow. Probably going to do those in reverse order. NFC East first, and then we're going to save the AFC East for last. Just because, I'm a Patriots fan, and I also like the Lions. So, that's why we've pushed the AFC North and NFC North and the AFC East and the NFC East for last. Second favorite team is the Lions. First favorite team is always will be the Patriots. So let's take a little look-see at how the NFC North did. As you know, we go over the previous year a little bit, and then we go over the our slight predictions for what the year might be. Again, these are, predictions made without a preseason. It's a little difficult. You have to use a lot of last year and a lot of the moves and what you've seen in camp. It's kind of difficult. So, fourth place last year was the Detroit Lions. They went 3-12-1 with a tie. They tied. It was kind of weird. Of course, Matthew Stafford got hurt after the eighth. They played 8 games without Stafford, and as you can tell, they lost all of them. They went 3-4-1 with Stafford, and then when Stafford got hurt, 0-8. They lost all the games. They didn't win another game, and clearly that was part of the reason why they had such an abysmal record. He should be back. He should be healthy. That should be good for the Lions. But again, I don't think they were as bad as what the record indicates. If Stafford wouldn't have gotten hurt, I was predicted more like a 6-9-1, maybe a 7-8-1 record type situation for the Lions last year. Should Stafford have not gotten injured? They were off to a pretty good start. They had good games against the Chiefs, and yeah, they were a decent little team before the injury. So 3-12-1 probably should have been 6-9-1, maybe 7-8-1. Chicago Bears, they win 8-8. Not that great, not that bad. It was just an average season. Mitch Trubisky kind of got exposed. Maybe he's not the guy, even though he was just named the starting quarterback again for the Bears. So we'll see how that plays. Maybe their defense will be back up to their normal levels after sort of a down year last year. Their defense had. It was kind of it wasn't what it was the 2 years prior when they went 12-4 and kind of dominated out of nowhere. So we'll see if the Bears can get back into that form. I don't know. We'll see. 8-8 for them last year. And then, of course, the two highlighted teams are the Vikings and the Packers. They both made the playoffs. The Vikings went 10-6 last year. Kirk Cousins finally won some primetime games. He won a playoff game. Maybe we're seeing the evolution of Kirk as of last year, winning playoff games. Big step up for the kid. We never really had seen that before. Primetime games, that was crazy last year for him. They did lose Stephon Diggs, so we'll see how all that plays out for them. But they had a good year last year overall. Slightly disappointing, I don't know. I'm not really a Vikings fan, but it seemed like I thought they were going to win the division last year. But Green Bay I thought it was the Bears, but I thought a little too highly of Mitch based on year-to-year progression. I got fooled. It happens to the best of us. Major regression year 3 for Mitch. So just remember that, Josh Allen fans. But yeah, and then the Packers had a really good year last year. They went 13-3. They were with that team. How every year it seems there's a team that wins games, really luckily. They win a lot of close games. The ball just happens to bounce their way. That was the Packers last year. It seemed like they weren't a bad team by any stretch of the imagination, but 13-3 indicates they were a little lucky. They still could have went 10-6 and been a playoff team. So I don't really. The 13-3 seems lucky. The ball went their way. They had a couple of really questionable calls in a Detroit game. So we won't go there, but this is how it broke down last year. Interesting NFC North. Let's jump to the predictions, the more important part. Last place, I have the Chicago Bears. I don't think they got much better. They lost Chase Daniel, their backup, Taylor Gabriel, Trey Burton, Kyle Long, Nick Williams, Leonard Floyd, and Aaron Lynch. They added in Nick Foles as a backup. Ted Ginn, Jimmy Graham, the two older guys, Jermaine Ifedi, Robert Quinn, very good addition. Tayshaun Gibson, Jordan Lucas, Cole Kmet, they drafted, and Jalen Johnson, they also drafted. I just don't see where the Bears got any better. They're committing to Mitchell Trubisky, so I could see them starting off 2-3 the first 5 weeks till they decide to make a change. It seems like they're in a weird like they still don't have the quarterback situation figured out. I thought they'd be going Foles. I'd have been a little bit more lenient on this, maybe a 9-7 record for them instead of what I gave them, simply because it's like where is the, what am I thinking here? Like why is still Mitch? It's like he's clearly not the guy. Hopefully the decision to go with Mitch doesn't make the defense do what they did last year, which looked like they played lazily in almost like a protest of going with Mitch as the guy. When you could have gotten a different quarterback, you could, do something to improve the situation. But instead, you're doubling down on a guy. Maybe the defense is like, well, the offense is clearly not going to be pulling their weight now. It just seems like the Bears had that a little weird thing going on last year, and I think choosing Mitch again is going to continue that into this year. Hopefully, once Nick Foles eventually does take this job, the defense is able to play for them. But we'll see how that plays. I don't see a lot of the Bears. I don't think like getting Quinn was their best move, and I think Cole Kmet was good, but like nothing else here feels like a big like home run move. Quinn was good. I don't know. Third place, I have the Lions, and that's because much like the Cleveland Browns, there's a lot of hopefullys and maybes. Is Stafford hopefully healthy? Are all these moves that they made in the offseason going to be good? Hopefully they are. Hopefully, the chemistry is there from the New England days for a lot of these guys. Hopefully we are the new Patriots, the Great Lakes Edition Patriots. So let's look at some of the Lions, so all those hopefullys and maybes with the Lions, I have to put them at 8-8. A lot of 8-8 teams are only 8-8 because I really don't know what their defense is going to be. The offense looks elite for the Lions. It looks like one of the better offenses, but their defense is a question mark, especially the secondary and linebacking unit. Mostly the secondary because, you got young guys and new guys, and it's just an interesting situation developing in Detroit. We'll see how the secondary plays. If that's a good unit, then Detroit could be a good team, but maybe. Again, more hopefullys and maybes. So that's why I have them in 8-8. Look at who they lost. JD Missick, Logan Thomas, Ricky Wagner, Graham Glasgow. That was a big one. Mike Daniels, Snacks Harrison, Ashawn Robinson, Rashawn Melvin, and Tavon Wilson. They added in Chase Daniel as a backup. Good job. Geronimo Allison, Big V from Philadelphia, Danny Shelton, Nick Williams, Jamie Collins, Reggie Ragland, Elijah Lee, Desmond Trufant, Darryl Roberts, Duron Harmon, Jaron Kearse. They drafted Jeff Okuda, DeAndre Swift, Julian Aquara, and Jonah Jackson. Yeah, the Lions had a really busy offseason. They added in some good pieces, I think. Now, again, the maybes, are they going to play well together? Are they going to buy into Patricia's scheme like they did when they were in New England, some of these guys? Well, is the offense going to gel well together? I think so. So I'm excited to see what the Lions do. Again, lots of maybes, gives them the 8-8 kind of, we have to be like, well, we know the offense should be good if Stafford doesn't, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of ifs and shoulds, and it should on paper. And so that's why it's hard for me with like the Browns, the Lions, other teams that I've chosen to go 8-8. I think the Cardinals are there too. They're the teams that I'm like, yeah, I would like to say that they're going to be really good or they're going to be bad. But I'm like, this is a lot of like, if this wasn't the Lions doing these moves, it feels like, it'd be like, wow, look at all these players this team added. But because it's the Lions, everyone's like, yeah, but how are the Lions going to screw this up? Or how are they going to get screwed over? Like out of this situation. So but that's why I went 8-8. I would like to see how the secondary and linebacking unit plays. Other than that, this is a really good little football team. Good luck playing them. Offense is going to be tough to stop. Here's where I'm going to probably run into a little bit of issues with the Green Bay folks. This does not mean your team is not in the playoffs. I still have to do the NFC East, and I don't know if anybody but Dallas is going over 500 in that division. I still have to kind of look hard at the Eagles and see all their injuries and everything. So don't panic. You're probably going to still be in the playoffs, Packers fan. There is 7 spots, so don't worry. It's much like the Broncos and the Titans fans. You're probably going to get in. Just got to do the East. Let me get done with the East, and we'll figure out the non-sure playoff, wild card teams. All right. And I think a lot of Packers fans knew this was coming based on the way you fucking idiots didn't do anything to really improve your team. You improved the future, but you're kind of in a win now mode. Your quarterback isn't getting any younger. And I'm just saying things every Packers fan knows. They didn't do very well this offseason. Look, that's all the moves they made. They lost Dan Vitale, Geronimo Allison, Jimmy Graham, Brian Balaga, Blake Martinez, and Tremont Williams. None of them are high impact. Maybe Geronimo a little bit, and Blake a tiny bit. They added in Funches. Good job. Ricky Wagner, Christian Kirksey. They drafted Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon. Those were their earlier picks, the good picks that were impact, they said. So the way I look at this is like, yeah, again, earlier, as I said, I thought the Packers got to 13 wins on a lot of luck. I thought they were like a 10 or 11 win team, but, you know, the ball rolled their way a couple extra times. You know, so that happens. I don't think that happens this year. I think the divisions got a little bit better. I think with the healthy Stafford, they're not going to be able to get away with so much shit like they did against the Lions. You know, like 4 hands to the face penalties against Trey Flowers, guy who'd never committed that penalty before. I'm just saying, you know, even Packers fans can admit last year had a bit of luck to it. I'm not saying that's bad. That's a part of the game. I'm not even saying your team's a bad team. I think the division's catching up. I don't think you did enough to address the holes on the team. I think teams know what the problems on that team are now, and they're going to kind of hone in on it based on the fact you didn't do enough to fix everything. You could have used more linebacking. You could have added some receiving help. You know, you could have added in just a few more things that just didn't happen, and it's going to be interesting to see how the team kind of deals with those situations. Yeah, they're still going to be a hard team. Rodgers is what he is, so good luck. I hope no, I actually don't hope you make the playoffs. I hope I could put the Eagles at 9-7 and just say you guys are out. More than likely, you guys will be the 7 seed or something like that. But yeah, if you can't tell so far, this has been the most balanced division I've done. I think the West has been a little bit more just as close or just about the same. But I think this is a very equal division. If you notice, they're all within a game of each other. So I think the Vikings do win the North. Getting Yannick Ngakoue was very vital to this, by the way. Before I would have flipped the Packers and the Vikings and had them 9-7, Packers 10-6 win the division again. But based on getting Yannick and having Daniil, having that fucking defensive line, that is going to be gnarly. Now, they did lose a lot. Diggs, Josh Klein, they lost Everson Griffin, Linval Joseph, Xavier Rhodes, Mackenzie Alexander, Trey Wayne to Cincinnati, Jaron Kirsten to the Lions. They gained Tajay Sharp, Anthony Zettel, Michael Pierce, Yannick Ngakoue. They drafted Justin Jefferson, Jeff Gladney, Ezra Cleveland, Cameron Dantzler, and Troy Dye. Those are pretty deep. Like, that's the big moves for them. I like their defense a lot. I think their offense is improving slowly. I think Kirk's getting more confident as a quarterback. I think those clutch the clutch playing is improved. The primetime winning ability is actually there. So I'm pretty excited to see what the Vikings can do this year. It's going to be it's going to be hard to do things against that defense, especially against that defensive front. Yannick and fucking Daniil Hunter are going to rain hell upon this league. So it's going to be tough. I really don't know. Like, I don't know how good the Lions are in the North to deal with that. Like, it's just a lot of things. You know what I mean? That's a really good defensive front, and I'm a sucker for a good defensive front like that. So, and I also think their offense is gaining confidence. Kirk's getting better all the time. So that's my predictions for the North. It's going to go Vikings 10-6, Packers 9-7, Lions 8-8, Bears 7-9. Advance. This is the more updated version now. We have only two spots in the NFC and 3 spots in the AFC. The AFC is probably done, or the NFC is probably done. The Cowboys or whoever wins the East is going to get the last division winning spot, and then we're going to see the next wild card, probably the Packers. And then in the AFC, we still have to do the East as well. You know, there's obviously going to be whoever wins the East, and then is it the Broncos, Titans, is the Bills or Patriots? Well, we'll see how everything plays out in the predictions. So, yeah. So that's going to be the North predictions for the NFC. Again, it's the Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears. That's how I think it plays out. Let me know what you think down below. Leave your thoughts. There could be some disagreements. I'm ready for the Packers fans to be like, you don't know nothing. You know, that's totally fine. It is what it is. I'm ready for it. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Again, I still think your team's making the playoffs. Don't worry. But again, thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in tomorrow for the AFC and NFC East. The grand finales. Ooh. And then, of course, on, we have Mondays, the playoff predictions. So good times ahead. Thank you so much for listening. Again, thank you so much. Leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that YouTube shit. And thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you later. Go Patriots. Go Lions. And, of course, yeah.